Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my luxury wish list for 2022, and you know what, I think I better address the fact that at the time I'm filming this video, it's in March. But my videos are kind of going to be a bit all over the place. I'm going to have content that I filmed back last year before I moved to Queensland that I'm going to be uploading on this channel. You probably have seen, like, I'm sure by the time I've uploaded this video, there has been a video that was filmed back there. And then I had about 2.5 weeks where I didn't upload any videos, and that was purely because my parents were visiting from Sydney, so I was really busy. And then by the time came around that I kind of had a bit of time to start editing, we had very catastrophic really Mother Nature event. We had some crazy floods that were in Queensland. Thankfully, where we are, it's in a high-lying area. It kind of was just very overwhelming, all of that, and obviously the flow-on effect of that too. It was stressful because roads were closed. My husband couldn't really go into work as well. And then as well, my parents were supposed to go back to Sydney and their flight got cancelled twice. When we're coming back from dropping them off at the airport, well, my husband actually, and I'm actually quite glad that he took them because I probably would have been totally like freaking out. There was so many roads that were closed that he pretty much had to kind of drive through like shallow floodway. It wasn't like really flooded, but it was somewhat like a shallowish sort of flood, which you really shouldn't drive through any flooded roads whatsoever. But he kind of was left with a bit of no choice, where if he didn't do it, he would have been stuck and he would have been waiting for days, maybe like at least a full 24 hours to even be able to get home. So he kind of waited for like a big 4-wheel drive to go through, and then he followed quickly in behind to get through that water because that 4-wheel drive was able to make an opening. So yeah, it was full on. So it's been crazy. I know that I am in totally no routine at all on my channel. And I do apologize, you know, but at the end of the day, my family, my life has always come first. Doing YouTube is just a hobby for me. It's just something fun that I love to do because I love interacting with everybody about luxury. But when things like this are going on, and even at the moment with what's going on even in Ukraine, which is absolutely devastating as well, like the floods happened at the same time that, you know, Russia did this war crime and invaded Ukraine. Like it was just full on that, like it just felt like luxury in a scheme of things just felt like I didn't really want to talk about it. I wanted to get back into the rhythm of things because it's not nice to just sit and dwell and, you know, think about all the negative things, the bad things are happening in the world. You have to kind of, you know, it's better to get back on the horse and keep doing what you do that brings you joy, because it helps to just block out, you know, the bad things, block out the negativity and block out all that sort of stuff. It really does help. And I know I've spoken to a couple of subscribers of mine that, you know, are really feeling the effects of like the news and watching what's going on in Ukraine, and they kind of feel that same way, that they've just got to shut off the news to just help to cope with it. And I completely agree. So that's my way of shutting off the news, you know, just taking the time to do what I usually would do and get back into the rhythm. So that's what I'm hoping that this video is going to be. I think it's been about 5 minutes in and I've waffled on, but you know what? That's just me. That's classic Mel. You know, you're an Australian girl that loves a good old chat. That's me. So if you don't like it, if you don't like chatting, you probably don't want to subscribe to this channel. But if you are cool with a bit of a chit chat, you know, Aussie slang, and you love all things luxury and you are new to my channel, then I would love if you would hit that subscribe button below and also the bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. On a regular basis, I would be uploading videos every weekend, and then I might have a midweek upload as a surprise, but there's been none of that lately. It's been too crazy. Today, wish list. Yes, we are doing my luxury wish list for 2022, and it's going to be very different. I feel like quite different than all my wish list before. Actually, I've totally like kind of flipped in a way. If there is anything missing from this wish list that I had in last year's wish list, my last updated wish list video, which I will leave down below. I'll leave both of last year's 2021 wish list videos, so you can kind of get a feel of what I was kind of thinking last year versus like this year. I'll leave them down below. But if anything is missing versus those previous ones, then it more than likely means, it doesn't mean that I don't like or potentially want the item. It's just that it's not a priority and it's not something that I'm really going to be thinking about this year. You know, if it falls from the sky, that's great, but if it doesn't, I'm kind of got a different focus this year. So going in a bit of a slightly different direction with my wish list. And as usual, I am going to start off with bags. Now, let me just say that there is Hermes bags on this wish list, and I need to sit down and film an Hermes video, like doing an update 1 year on from the experience that I had back pretty much relative to my old store that I used to shop at when I lived in a different state. I'm gonna kind of reflect back on that in some way. I don't want to make it all too serious because I feel like, you know, when I look back at that video, that was very, very serious. And I don't feel that like seriousness anymore. I'm kind of like over it to an extent. Like it definitely, like I'm over it, but I like, there's still things that I will always feel like, you know what, morally that was wrong. Morally that should not have happened. I'll always feel that way. So I do need to reflect back on that video, and I will eventually sit down and just have a general chit chat about it. But because like I kind of feel like my mind is just not wanting to kind of dwell or think about like negative stuff, kind of why I feel a bit like, oh, I don't really want to film that video right now. So yeah, my luxury wish list does have a little bit more Hermes than kind of last year, I guess, kind of in a way. Yeah, I'd say that it sort of does. And I've kind of, you know, flipped a bit of a switch, and I have started to want to get some more Hermes bags back in my collection. And I still really like appreciate the Chanel bags, but after what happened with my iridescent cocoa handle, the fact that Chanel Australia does not do any spars on their Chanel leather bags unless it's a black classics. That's another thing that I'll sit down and film a video on, about some things that you might not know about Chanel in terms of like when you're buying Chanel that you probably should know before you go into the purchase, that I kind of wish that I had known about. I had just assumed that because Chanel does repairs on like hardware, generally that sort of thing, and they have the Moi program. It's the new program with microchipped bags, so they offer 5-year warranty on things like, you know, things that shouldn't happen, like defects, like pop stitches, hardware, that sort of thing. Because I'd assumed that because they were offering all that, and because I do that, that surely they would offer some kind of like after sales care for your handbags, you know, if you had color transfer. But turns out that they don't, especially in Australia, they don't. You end up having to use third-party spars. And that really kind of flipped that switch when it comes to Chanel for me, because it bothered me that I was like, hang on, their prices keep going up. You know, bags are beautiful, but the prices keep going up and up and up. And I'm pretty clumsy. I have 2 kids, so I'm not exactly the best candidate to baby luxury handbags. I'm pretty darn rough with them and just a bit of a general klutz. I try to look after bags myself and that sort of thing. Like, speaking of, actually, while I'm on this topic, and I know I haven't even gotten into my wish list yet, I got my pink Chanel Caviar mini rectangular back from Bags & More. One of my videos I talked about the fact that I got color transfer on this bag, which is not the first time I've had color transfer on a Chanel bag. But basically it's come back and now it looks amazing. It's pretty much almost all gone. I'll have some before images on the screen, so if you did miss that, you can kind of see what it did look like. But basically, majority of it is gone. It's not totally perfect, but you know, it was pretty darn damaged. So the strap is probably the part where I kind of can still see some of the black dye. But the issue with this kind of vanity is that it's just like a unfinished edge of leather, like inside that strap, and the transfer even got to that unfinished edge. So that's where I can kind of see that they weren't able to totally sort of cover it up. But nonetheless, the job is still amazing compared to what this bag looked like before. You wouldn't really like generally be able to tell just from like kind of here that it had that kind of drastic black color dye all over it. It looks so much better. Bags & More is a third-party spa in Sydney. Being said, I do know very well that there is fantastic third-party, you know, leather repairers in Australia that you can use. I really like when it comes to luxury, when you spend so much money, like multiple thousands of dollars. We're not talking like a couple thousand, we're talking like, this is the cheapest Chanel bag I own. Like, it's not even technically a bag, it's a vanity. And I have no doubt the price will go up next price increase, because they always do. But otherwise, the mini flaps are over $6,000. The top handle one, which is up there, is like almost $7,000. The Chanel 19, like $8,000. Classic flaps start from like $13,000 in Australia, sort of thing. They are not freaking cheap. They are bloody expensive, and I just hate the fact that you spend so much money and you can't even send the bag back for general upkeep, for spa, for color transfer removal, leather repair, that kind of thing, to the brand. Like, you can't even give it back to the brand and have them send it away and you pay for it. Like, it just mind blows me because they're just charging so much money and they don't even offer that in Australia. Like I said, this is just in Australia. I think in the US it's different. You know what, if I had maybe even had a place like Leather Surgeons, which I think is an authorized Chanel repairer, and they actually get the hardware and stuff like that from Chanel, that would be a whole different thing. But because in Australia we're pretty limited, that sort of thing, they don't have all the exact color matches, that sort of thing. It's just like, it bothers me, and it really irked me with my Coco handle, and it's irked me ever since. So that has kind of shifted me a bit from buying Chanel brand new from the store. Now I am going back a bit more to Hermes this year in 2022, and I have no shame in it. I do not give a shit if people think, oh my god, you're going back to Hermes. There is only a minority of people that will think that because of the video that I uploaded, but there is a majority of people that have watched my channel from pretty much like early on that will know that my heart was always with that brand for a multitude of reasons. I've never been the sort of person that buys it due to like status or competition, wanting to be like, I've got the most expensive bag, you know, or like, I'm better than that girl over there because I can afford Hermes. You know, I'm not that sort of person. Not about that life. I just really appreciate the craftsmanship. The after sales service is fantastic because when you know, if you need your bag sparred and you manage to color transfer the shite out of it, you can take your bag back to Hermes and they will send it back to Paris, and they will actually send it back to the artisan that made your bag, as long as they're still working there, to get them to repair your bag. So there is really a lot of that, you know, that personal element involved when it comes to like their handbags. Even if you don't buy them from the store, you can do that. Like, most of my bags are not directly from the Hermes store myself where I've bought them. Most of them have come from the pre-loved market over my whole lifetime of buying Hermes since like 2015. Yeah, sort of late 2015. And yeah, I could send my bags to Spa even though the receipt wasn't in my name, or if I had no receipt. So I really love their after sales service, and I just love that the craftsmanship is just a whole different level. You really do feel like, even though you're paying premium price for Hermes, which technically speaking, the premium price is only Birkin Kelly Constance and a couple of their other bags. But compared to Chanel, it's kind of not really premium anymore. Like a Pinkerton is just under $5,000. Problem is like the building of a relationship, trying to get a bag, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. That's a real pain. They really need to sort that out globally, where it's more of a fairer system, even for like normal bags, where people can just like put their name down for it. They don't even have to have a sales associate and they can get a bag. Like, they need to sort that out. Please, Hermes, sort that out. So let me tell you the Hermes bags that I'm thinking about getting in 2022. All right, let's start off with like, pretty much, you know what? Majority of these bags have already been on my wish list, and they've been on my wish list for like since, explicitly since I started doing YouTube, since like 2019. So I want a vintage heritage leather bag in box calf or vache natural. Ideally, I'd like it to be a Kelly or a Birkin, but it doesn't have to be. I know I've said it in the past that most of the time that's what I wanted, a Birkin or a Kelly in heritage leather from Hermes. But now I'm thinking, you know what, if that's, because the pricing in the resale market for Hermes has just gone a little bit batshit crazy since the pandemic. So I'm kind of thinking, you know what, it's harder to get there, like those kind of bags. They're already like heritage leathers, and now like the rarer the bag, it's like the price has gone up and up and up. But I'm thinking maybe I'll just go for something like the Liddy bag. The Liddy is a vintage bag that no longer is being produced. It has a little H on the front, super cute, kind of looks like a bit of an envelope bag, kind of like tapers into a V shape. Maybe I could go for like a jiggy clutch or something, like a big kind of clutch for like errands in a heritage leather. The next one is, again, something that has been on my wish list since a long time. I'm pretty sure I probably said this back in 2019. I'm sure I have, yeah. But I had said for ages that I really wanted to get a mini Kelly in black in vintage, because the vintage ones have a bigger top handle. But like I said, with the rarer the bag, and if even more so if it's in a rare leather, the price has just gone absolutely bananas. So the mini Kelly bag is very expensive at the moment as well, because it's a rarer bag. But funnily enough, if you go for a mini Kelly in box calf, it is even more expensive than a mini Kelly in just like a standard Epsom leather, Chev leather, that sort of thing. So I'm thinking what I'm probably going to end up doing is going for a mini Kelly in Mini Kelly 2. Yeah, Mini Kelly 2, the current Mini Kelly. Doesn't have to be like Epsom, it can be Chev. It doesn't really matter, either or. I'm not fussed on leather, I will take any. It's just going to be more a matter of getting the right color and the price that I'm okay with, because I know I'm going to be paying a pretty hefty price for one no matter what. It's gone crazy in the resale market for anything Hermes at the moment. But I know that I have my limits, just like with my Kelly 28. I had my limits on that based on the current market. However, when I bought that, my Kelly 28 back in 2021, at the very beginning of 2021, it hadn't gone as crazy as it has even gone now since late 2021. So yeah, it's going to be harder. So definitely my limit's going to have to go up. Even if I go ahead and buy like a mini Kelly, the mini Kelly 2, the current one, in theory, even if I'm paying like a premium price, but if I find one for a relatively good deal, even though it's going to be premium, the way I kind of calculate it is that for me to even get one at store, I would really probably have to be spending like, well, to be honest, actually from what I have heard, I know a couple people that shop overseas, some of them that shop here in Australia, and they've sort of said to me that the general thing is that to get a mini Kelly, you kind of are spending 5 times the price of one in other items from the house for a display of loyalty in order to get a mini Kelly bag. Say I were to go to Hawaii, I probably have to spend like, you know, I think Hawaii is a little bit different. You probably only have to spend maybe around about $35,000 Australian or something like that. And then you might be able to get a bag, but like a mini Kelly. But I just don't want to do that, you know, and I definitely don't see myself going anywhere overseas or anything like that with 2 kids. It's not happening. So I decided I would rather go resale market, which is generally how I would be shopping all my Hermes Birkin Kelly Constance, is from the resale market. That is what I have decided, that I ultimately totally fine with that. Totally fine with that, because I know that I can pick what I want, and it's just a matter of shopping for the price that I'm okay with. So that is something that I'll obviously talk about in my Hermes video when I do recap on, you know, 1 year on, that sort of thing. Okay, so next Hermes bag that I'm really thinking about, and this was on my wish list last time as well, and that is a Constance 18. So I've been saying for a while that I wanted a Constance 18, and I still do. I think it's a really great bag because it's crossbody, kind of a bit reminiscent of like using a Chanel mini flap. I know I love using the Chanel mini flap. So Constance 18, I'm thinking mauve, because I love that color mauve, vert cricket or blue broom. Or I could go absolutely crazy, and I'm just not sure I would do it because it's a bit ballsy. I love that Doblis Violet Palmy. I think it's Violet Palmy. God, it's beautiful. I'm starting to get a bit of allergies, gosh. Ooh. All right, Birkin 25 or Kelly 25. But I want it to be gold on gold. So I really want to get a gold on gold bag. But I don't know if that will happen this year. Maybe, maybe not, because the mini Kelly is going to be like quite a chunk. And I also have some other things that I want to do at home, like renovations and stuff like that. My husband wants a boat. So, so I don't know, we will see. But I kind of feel like that might be something that I'd really like to sort of tick off. The thing is a Birkin 35 or a Kelly 32 or a Kelly 35, but in Swift. Not sure what color. Probably would definitely maybe go a neutral for that one. Maybe I'll get gold in that color. But it has to be very cheap. Like we're talking pre-loved, used, run around kind of bag that I use to like chuck all my kids' stuff in and go places and do whatever, that sort of thing. And definitely gonna have a budget limit on that. I'm not gonna be spending more than like say like $13,000 Australian, maybe maximum $14,000 Australian on that kind of bag. So it's going to be a hard market because the market has changed. Even with big bags, they've definitely gone up in price, but I still feel like I could do it. I'm pretty darn good at hunting for those deals. I love it. I find it very enjoyable, scouring the entire internet for every single shopping site that I'm familiar with and waiting and watching. And that is a Constance to go. I wouldn't mind getting an actual real Constance to go rather than my hack one, which is that crayy one back there in between the 2 bags. Even though that's really cool because I paid a bargain price for that Cray Constance wallet in rose gold hardware. I kind of really want a real Constance to go without the strap that kind of falls out. So I kind of would only want to pay the retail price for that, or maybe slightly over retail, maybe like 500 Australian dollars over retail if I had to buy it in the resale market. Because I just don't think that it's worth paying a hefty premium for the Constance to go, because you can't, like, even though it fits a pretty good amount, you have to take out all your cards and put everything in it that way. And the last one is, again, the item that I have been saying since it launched back in, like, when was it, 2019? Yes, 2019 I'm pretty sure it launched, and that's the Mini Lindy. So yeah, I've been wanting to get a Mini Lindy for bloody years now. I have seen a few ones pop up online, and apparently everyone beats me to it. I've been saying this for years that I want a mini Lindy. I've seen a few pop up online and I've missed out on them, but it will happen. I am determined it will happen. But again, it's one of those items that I will not pay a premium price for. I'm happy to like go a little bit over the retail price, you know, like a few hundred, like 500, maybe maximum 1,000 maybe. So mini Lindy, even though it's on my list, I'm not crazy enough for it because I know that it's something that I could get online if I get lucky. Now moving on to Chanel. Now this is less than what it has been and it's definitely a different vibe. So basically pretty much all the bags that I have on this list, I will only buy if they are pre-loved. Or there might be one that I would make an exception for, but I think that it probably won't happen anyway. And I'll start off with that one anyway. And that's the caramel. I think that the Chanel small classic flap or the mini flap would be better for me in the caramel color. So that's probably the only one I would be willing to pay the retail price for out of all the Chanel bags because of the whole, you know, lack of after sales and that sort of thing. However, you know what would be really cool is getting a vintage one of that. If I could get a vintage one for less than the retail price, then that would be pretty awesome as well. But otherwise, I do want to get a Chanel vintage flap, and don't think the video will be live yet, but I do have a vintage Chanel flap that I bought for a friend, and I did a on-screen spa, and I've got it for a bargain price, and pretty much after the spa that I did, that anyone could kind of do, it upped the value by like $1,500 to $2,000 Australian. So that made me super keen to go ahead and hunt for my own Chanel classic flap, vintage, in the small size. I would kind of prefer if it's in like pink or beige or caramel or maybe some kind of unique blue or something like that. Rather than a black. I mean, I would totally be okay to go with black. I would actually be alright with it. You know what? Yeah, I take that back. I would be totally fine with a Chanel small classic flap in black. I feel like that's pretty darn classic and it'd be pretty darn easy for me to maintain. There is a bag as well. Oh my god, my allergies are playing up. There is a bag as well that's been on my list for ages, and that's a Chanel jumbo classic flap with the 24 karat gold plated hardware, the big hardware. I've been wanting that forever. For years and years and years, I've been saying that I want one of these bags. It's pretty much been on like every single wishlist video. And I haven't pulled the trigger because at the time that I mean, I've seen the price on this just go up and up and up. And it's really hard when you know that it was something a different price before. And now you're like, why is it like 5 to 6 times the price of what it was before? Like, it's just absolutely insane. It's mind-blowing. I just don't know if I could buy it because the price on those is like crazy now. It's like $6,000 to like, the lowest is like $6,000 up to like, you know, $10,000 for one of those bags. So it's, yeah, even though less than retail, I was looking at them when they were like $2,000 in Japan, pre-loved. So it's a lot to stomach, that kind of jump. And it's really the same thing for like Hermes as well. It's a lot to stomach. But then the factor comes in that the Chanel has no after sales service. I can't just take it to Chanel and be like, hey, can you know, like spa my bag, clean it up, retouch the leather, you know, retouch the strap, like the leather in the strap, all that sort of thing. I can't get that done at Chanel via Chanel Australia. So that's what kind of makes me go, well, I'm paying more for it, but I don't, like, there's the lack of after sales service. So yeah. However, I still kind of feel like I'd rather get vintage Chanel and pre-loved Chanel to save thousands and thousands of dollars because of that fact that there's no like after sales spa, like artisan to kind of, you know, sort out your bag. But yeah, it's still on the list. It's still on the list for that very reason that I do like the bag, but just don't know if I love it. It's more of like a, like, you know, nostalgic sort of thing, I think, you know, because like when I was younger, that was the bag that like Victoria Beckham was using. Last is the Chanel Timeless shoulder bag. I think that's the name of it. I'm pretty kind of sure. It's kind of like a baguette sort of style. It's got the big CC on the front. I had this on my wish list before, and I specifically want it in pink or in beige. But yeah, it's been on my wish list before, so it's really just a run on and something that I kind of feel like I still sort of want. I think it's pretty cool sort of like vibe that bag has. All right, so now moving on to a couple other bags, and then we're going on to a whole different style of wish list for me. And I've been thinking of getting a Dior book tote. I did have the book tote before in the big original size, but that was totally impractical for me at the time because I lived in Sydney. It was way too big for me to use like in crowded shopping centers. You'd be like whacking into people. It was just way too big of a bag on me, and it kind of looks stupid in a way. However, I would be okay to get that kind of size again, or I would kind of prefer the small because there'd be more versatility to it. But I was thinking, like, if I got the original size pre-loved for a good deal, mind you, there are some great deals on these bags on Vestiaire Collective, on the book totes. I will link it down below, actually. Let me just tell you that now. I will link down below anything that I've mentioned that is a great deal, a good deal, that will be in the description bar down below. And especially if there's any vintage Chanel classic flaps, if I link any of those down below and you're thinking about getting one, especially if it's in black, and it's a good deal, grab it, because I'm going to have a video posted on my channel on how to do your own self-spa, and it can pretty much increase the value of that bag. If you buy one that's pretty beat up, you can like do amazing things with it. Book tote, I will link it down below because I know Vestiaire Collective is the place to go for that kind of item, and that's why I'm kind of thinking about getting a book tote to use it for the beach, to put all my towels in, because we go to the beach pretty darn often. And I was just thinking, yeah, it'd be a great bag for that. And then, you know, it could also double as like a travel bag when I'm going on a plane to visit family. But could double as a bag that we use for when we're going to, like, you know, going on a picnic or anything where I just need to carry a buttload of stuff. So that's the other reason why I'm thinking about it, because I'm like, man, I could get a really good deal on this bag, and I could probably get a good amount of use from it, especially with the fact that we go to the beach all the time. Because at the moment, you know what I'm using for my beach bag? I'm using a Kohl's bag. Literally, I've been using like a Kohl's shopping bag because it's that kind of shape, but it's a good beach bag. But I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I should up the ante a bit, you know, and get a Dior book tote in place of my Kohl's bag. Last bag that I have on my list is a Senreve bag. I'm thinking about getting the Cadence bag. It's a new release. It's kind of cool. It's got a bit of a Pochette Matisse kind of vibe to it. I like the buckle on that bag. If you are thinking about a Senreve bag, I will leave the link down below in the description bar to the Cadence bag, but I'll also leave the link as well to my $50 off, pretty much an affiliate link. And if you click that link before you pay, you'll get $50 off your order at the checkout on the Senreve website. So yeah, if you want to save 50 bucks, go down below and click on that Senreve $50 off link. Okay, so that's it for bags. That is all the bags that are on my wish list for 2022. Now, the rest of these items, I'm not going to talk about ready-to-wear shoes because that's always seasonal based anyway. I used to talk about it, but now I'm not going to, because I just feel like it's going to be based on seasonal. It's going to be based on like what I find, pre-loved, good deals, and that sort of thing. Same as like small leather goods, unless it's something that like I kind of been wanting for ages, it probably wouldn't make a wish list like for it, because generally I'm not really like a big small leather goods kind of shopper. So yeah, I pretty much now, other than bags, I have a wish list, which I've had before, for fine jewelry. I have before said that I wanted some particular items, and they are kind of still on my list, but now I've kind of wanted to grow my fine jewelry collection, because kind of feel like, I'm not going to say like I feel over handbags, because I definitely don't, because there are handbags on my wish list, but I kind of feel a bit like sometimes it gets a bit overwhelming, like all the new releases of bags, like especially like with Chanel, there's like 6 seasons a year. Louis Vuitton has like so many bags that it's just like I couldn't even name half of them anymore. Dior kind of, they've churned out some new bags, and it's a bit wishy-washy, because you're like, is it going to stay classic? Are they going to discontinue that? Like, Dior likes to discontinue a lot of their bags. Louis Vuitton's sort of the same, but Louis Vuitton, there are just so many bags that you kind of just, you really have to assume that everything that you buy is probably going to get discontinued from Louis Vuitton. But yeah, that being said, that's kind of why I'm like, you know what, I do want some bags. But I feel like there's a bit of a mixed focus with bags and fine jewelry this year, that I say that I want these bags, but they might not eventuate, because I kind of want to focus on fine jewelry. They're kind of neck and neck. They're pretty darn even, that I kind of feel like there will be a bag that I definitely get this year that's on that wish list, and it'll probably be something from Hermes. Like, I probably will definitely pull the trigger on it. But then after that, I probably will shift to getting some fine jewelry, to curating my collection, because the great thing about fine jewelry, based on the way I want to curate it, is that generally most pieces I'll be able to wear them all the time. I'm hoping that I can just wear them 24/7 in the shower and everything like that. Value for money sort of thing. Like, I know that with my fine jewelry, I'll be able to get really good use from it, because I'll be wearing it all the time and sleeping in it. I know you can probably hear my sinuses. This is just like a thing where it just escalates. I have an air filter in here, but I'm not running it because it's a bit noisy. And I think because I've stopped running it, I probably stirred up some dust or something like that. First item on my fine jewellery wish list, and I would say that this is fine jewellery. I definitely put it into that category, even though it's not exactly like jewellery, it's a watch. So yeah, I want to get a watch. And not just any watch, I want a Rolex watch. I have no idea how the Rolex system works. I know that there is like wait list and you pretty much have to build a portfolio, kind of like you do with Hermes. So that's a bit like intimidating. I don't want to go down that road again. Yep, definitely don't. So if you have any tips, you're more than welcome to share with me, like your tips for like, you know, how you get a Rolex watch from the store. But otherwise, if it's too full on and it's like Hermes, then I probably do not want to do that. So I will probably just go ahead and get one from Japan, because Japan has some amazing deals. Specifically, perhaps a Rolex Datejust, or I'm thinking the Oyster Perpetual one, or I'm thinking a Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust. You know, get both of them in the one watch. The next one is something that has been on here kind of like a while, for sure. And that is the Van Cleef & Arpels Vintage Alhambra, or the Sweet Alhambra earrings. I've been wanting to get them for ages and they've been on my wish list for years. However, the only thing with the VCA earrings is that unless I get the rose gold ones that have got the crushed metal inside, or whatever you call it, you can't really wear them like in the shower and stuff like that. I heard like the mother of pearl, you definitely can't. The malachite and all that, like the gemstones or the stones, can really get like pretty messed up if you are getting them wet. I kind of like, that's a bit like, oh, would I get good value from them? Will they be a real hassle to sort of wear them because I have to take them out in the shower? But I do like them. They do look pretty darn nice. The next VCA item is a VCA bracelet. So I've been thinking of getting like just the simple bracelet with the Alhambra, I think that's what it's called, like in the middle there, that sort of thing. The other one is getting a Justin Clue bracelet, the Cartier one, or maybe the Cartier Love bracelet. Now, I said I would never get a Cartier Love bracelet because it's kind of become, like, it's kind of like a bit overrated, but I also see it as being a very comfortable bracelet. So that's the other thing that I think about. It's pretty darn comfortable, and you could buy them like, you know, pre-loved for a really good deal. But then I do worry a bit like with fakes with Cartier. I think Real Authentication does authenticate Cartier though, so that will give me a bit more peace of mind. I have a Real Authentication $5 off code if that's helpful for anyone. I'll just put it in the description bar. But yeah, otherwise I do prefer the Justin Clue bracelet. I do prefer it, but I do worry about the comfort factor. I worry that, would that nail, it kind of looks like a nail, doesn't it? Like it's a nail that twists around you. Would that be comfortable to wear even to sleep? Like I would just be thinking about the thin Justin Clue. So if you have a thin Justin Clue bracelet, do you wear it to sleep? Does it stab you in your sleep? Does it scratch anyone else in your sleep? Because my son does oftenly sleep next to me, and he's under 2 years old as well. Does it poke anyone in the eyeball? So yeah, let me know if you own a Justin Clue bracelet in the thin version. Can you give me your feedback? Is it a kind of bracelet that I could wear all the time without having to take it off? I would love to know. Please let me know. I'm also thinking as another bracelet in terms of comfort is maybe getting the Kelly bracelet, the Hermes Kelly bracelet. Now, the only problem with that bracelet is that I would need an extra small and it would need to be ordered in. So I'd either have to buy one pre-loved, or I'd have to try and get one ordered in at the store. I've got a couple of stores to pick from anyway. I don't have a sales associate, so that's kind of, you know, but that's all right. That doesn't matter. There's another Kelly bracelet called the Kelly chain bracelet, and I really liked that one when it actually got introduced. But I don't think it ever came to like Australia. I'm not quite sure. It's got like these really cool like links to it. I think that's pretty modern, but I have to do research to find out if that's comfortable, because for sure I'd have to order it, and then I'd be ordering it on a whim without knowing if it's comfortable, or I'd have to buy it pre-loved, and then again, I don't know if it's comfortable and it's not exactly cheap. Or the Collier de Chêne bracelet. That could be another option as well. But again, I will have to get the extra small, because I have owned the Collier de Chêne in the silver before, in the standard small size, and it was too big. So, and I'm not going to go down that road again. It has to be an extra small. Last items is that I do want some rings as well, on the topic of rings. And again, I'm thinking a Justin Clue ring. What would make me kind of go, would I get a Justin Clue ring, would be if I want to make sure I get a Justin Clue bracelet eventually. Like, then I don't want to get the ring, you know, because I kind of don't want both of them to be the same. Yeah, I like to make it sort of different. So yeah, if I get the Just Include ring, then I probably definitely won't get a Just Include bracelet. So I am also thinking of some Hermes rings as well, because they are pretty darn noticeable to the brand. The one that I'm sort of am thinking about getting, I have a few options. The Gallop ring, which has the horse head on it and a little diamond on it. The horse head, total quintessential Hermes. It's very architectural, that design as well. So the other one I'm thinking of is the Kelly ring in the small model with the 4 diamonds. And then the other one is H-Donk, which has got the H on it and it's got all diamonds on it. That's very quintessential Hermes as well. But then there's another couple that aren't exactly total quintessential Hermes, like you probably wouldn't know. But I do like the design of it. I like the architectural look to it. I think it's the Echappy. There's got like a circle and then it's got like this diamond thing that goes over it. So I'm really liking rings with diamonds. That one, or there's another one called I think it's called the Very Shandonk or something like that. And you can see the Shandonk on it and it's got diamonds all around it as well. And then there's another one called the New Farandole ring, which has got the little farandole and it's got diamonds all around it. So I definitely want like a ring with diamonds if I were to get an Hermes ring, because I think that even though like they've got diamonds, their pricing is still pretty reasonable, and even better if I can get one pre-loved for a really good deal. I was kind of thinking of, there were some other rings I was thinking of, and that was the what's it called? The it's not the Shandong. I think it's like the Shandong. It goes all the way around, like the Shandongs, because it would probably be pretty darn comfortable because nothing's like sticking out of it or anything, but it's got no diamonds on it. So I was like, I want diamonds. So yeah, I have the most amount of fine jewelry that I've ever had on any wish list before. So that's kind of my vibe, and how I'm feeling is that I not wanting to get so many bags. I kind of want to like maybe get a bag, and then I want to get some fine jewelry to follow suit with it. And the other thing is that I really want to get a necklace. I really was thinking of getting the VCA necklace. Is it the Alhambra pendant? I don't know. I total noob when it comes to VCA. Clearly I just like how pretty it looks, and I don't know a lot about the history, so if you are a VCA lover, you might find this slightly offensive. But yeah, I like how it looks. It just looks pretty to me. So yeah, I do really like that, the Van Cleef & Arpels necklace. But again, it comes down to the fact that because of that stone, I won't be able to wear that in the shower and that sort of thing, and I'll have to take it off. So I'd have to get the plain one with the rose gold, but then I kind of feel like that's not as cool, because Van Cleef & Arpels, I just think of like those stones, that mother of pearl, the malachite, that sort of thing. I haven't done a lot of research on necklaces because I know that that's pretty much the only necklace that sort of stands out to me. There have been some necklaces that I did see like at Tiffany & Co. and Cartier, and even Hermes as well. But the Cartier one is kind of the one I know of, just has like the rings on it, and I feel like that's a bit like, not that wrapped in it. So yeah, that is it. I'll have pretty much everything linked down below that I've mentioned. You know, anything I find pre-loved for good deals. I'm all about good deals. I love a good deal. So yeah, I'm gonna go now, and like I said, my videos are kind of gonna be all over the place, you know, filmed back in the day when I was in Sydney, and then some filmed here, but bear with me until I get into like a total rhythm. And I am glad that I've like pre-filmed lots of videos, because you know, who knows when I just need to like disappear or something like that. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this long wish list video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.